Hey everyone, all the amazing people out there, welcome to Real Knowledge Club show. Today we have an amazing guest with us whose name is like Mark Douglas, the mental marketer all the way from Texas, United States. Today he's going to share us like what knowledge, wisdom he has gained attaining to funnel hacking live event, not just 1 year back to back, or like from 2 years or like 3 years. And it's always my pleasure to have Mark Douglas. He's also a great friend of mine. And this is the second interview we are doing. And this is going to be the most craziest fun. I want to welcome Mark from my bottom of my heart for this show.
Thank you so much, Akshay. You know I love talking to you. I'm so happy. I appreciate you having me on your Real Knowledge Club. And yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yes, I'm super excited. Mark, tell us, how did you get this? Like basically the name and the idea about becoming a mental marketer. Just tell us like your story and background for all the people who don't know. Yeah.
Well, the mental marketer is it's a term that I use just to express the fact that marketing is very much a mental aspect. So there's a huge mental aspect when you are marketing. And I love sales. I love marketing. And I wanted to, and I love mindset. So those are the three things that I really gravitate towards. And I wanted a name that could kind of bring the best of all those worlds together, because those are all my passions: sales, marketing, leadership, and personal development. And that's how the mental marketer was born. I wasn't always born. I wasn't born a marketer. I was raised in a lower class neighborhood in an area of California that was a high crime neighborhood. So I was never given much opportunity to succeed in life, but I didn't want that to be my story. So when I was just out of high school, I went directly into the United States military, where I spent a few years, and I served my country for about 4 years, and then I got out of the military, and then I was stationed in Texas. So that's where I decided to make my home. There in Texas, here in Texas is where I've actually attended college, received a degree in marketing, even though I hated marketing, Akshay. I hated sales. It brought me, it made my heart just crumble. I did online phone sales for about 5 years, where we were calling people and trying to sell them on the phone. And I had so much rejection from that experience that I felt it. I didn't feel good about myself. I couldn't make a sale if it dropped in my lap. I couldn't make a sale. And it was interesting because even though I hated sales, I pursued a degree in sales and marketing. I think it was just the fact that, I saw so many other people around me that were being successful. And I knew that if they could do it, that there had to be a way that I could learn this skill of selling and be successful. So what did I do, Akshay?
Yeah.
I got a degree in sales and marketing, and then I went to work in the insurance field.
And that's how you went. Like it's like you went to an university, like you got a degree, and now if I just ask you, Mark, like you have went to university, you had the best education, the best knowledge, and like then you started to attend events, right? Where did the massive transformation happen? Did the university education, is it helping you right now, or the events and the knowledge learning from the best mentors helping you right now in the real world?
in the in the real world, right? I'll tell you what has really caused the transformation in me. I think people want to say that your transformation happens in an instant. And
Hmm.
and for me, it didn't happen in an instant. But my transformation has occurred over a period of time. And it's occurred as a result of me putting myself in the environments uh, of other successful people, and
Hmm.
other successful people like you, Akshay, like listening to you and seeing you interview some of the most amazing and most successful people in this online marketing space. So I'm on a journey to become a different person, and along this journey to becoming a different person, I am seeing others, and I'm taking a little bit of knowledge from here, and I'm taking a little bit of knowledge from here, and I'm taking a little bit of knowledge from everything around me to find the parts that I like, the parts that
Hmm.
fit with me. Because not everything, I don't want to be a carbon copy of someone else. And some people will go out and think that, and just think that, okay, I'll just repeat exactly what that person is doing, but you're not being your true self. And I've
Hmm.
I've,
Right.
I've really had to learn a balance of that. Me, I'm just a carefree guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still also a very I don't want to say that I'm smart, but I pay attention to detail, and I study those that have been before me, and I study those before that have been before me, and I understand that there's always something you can pick up. And so I would call myself an eternal seeker of knowledge, an eternal seeker of real knowledge. And I know you can understand that too.
Absolutely. It's like we have to be in the proximity, right? Like somebody who has knowing more than us, like 5, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, and learning from them who is ahead than us.
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I never approach, and I never go into a room thinking that I know everything. And and I'll tell you, Akshay, especially in a room like Funnel Hacking Live,
Yeah.
especially in that room, because you have a lot of smart people in there, and I tend to ask a lot of questions.
Right.
I ask a lot of questions, and I try to listen more than I talk.
That's the first rule to success.
That is,
Yeah. Because if we speak, we only showcase the knowledge which we have. But when we listen, like we take in the knowledge what others have, like becoming like a sponge, right? Like observing as much as possible.
yes,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yes.
And Mark, like you have been attending like last year, like we basically became friends at like Funnel Hacking Live event 2021, right? What are the changes? What are the difference you have seen like 2021 versus 2022? During that time, it was a COVID period and like very
Mhm.
few people had to come, right? Now this time, how many people came and what was the changes like you saw this year?
Oh, that's a great question, Akshay. And I'll tell you that last year at Funnel Hacking Live was my very first year attending the event. And this year, being the second year, I approached it in a different, I'm a different person than I was back then. Okay, so this year was the largest event ever. It was the largest
Hmm.
event ever. And there were some differences that you notice from just being in the room itself. So you've got the humongous stage. I think there were probably twice as many speakers as there were last year. But I'm
30
also,
speakers, right?
yes,
Close to
right.
30 speakers. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there were quite a few. And for me, I'm a, when in my first event, then I'm a little bit, I didn't know a lot. I really wanted to put myself out there so I could be seen. I wanted people to
Hmm.
see and notice me. And I made a lot of good connections last year. I got a lot of good interviews with some of the Two Comma Club award winners, some of the top affiliates in the ClickFunnels community, some of the top money earners. And what was surprising to me, Akshay, is that
Yeah.
they knew me.
Yeah, I saw your video with like Law Payne, like your photo with that $100 million awards who has won, right? And
Yeah,
I saw like it was super awesome.
yes,
Like they remember you.
yes.
And that's the beauty, right? Like what difference like you see like relationship building online versus offline? How is it the experience? Like if we go in an offline event, what are the changes like you can see? Can we build the real relationships? What's your take on that?
You can build a true relationship online. I
Yeah.
have, and I've built relationships where they're very close relationships, just seeing each other online. But being in person, it's another level. It is another level of relationship, and it is feeling the energy from the other person, being able to look at them directly face to face, and you
Right.
catch things that you don't catch when you just have a Zoom call or a back and forth messaging. It's a humongous difference. Um, I met some people there that I had only seen online. And for one, I'll tell you one
Hmm.
thing, is people are either taller or shorter than you think they are.
You see the reality over there.
Yes, yes. There's this one guy I see online all the time. And when I saw him there, he was like, it's like, wow, you're almost 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
But then it's being able to have that conversation and then establish that rapport. And there's
Hmm.
something about when you reach out to someone and you're there in person and you get this tighter connection. It's like a human connection. It is I'm serious. I'm serious.
Electrification effect. It's like an electric effect, right?
Yes, yes. And, and an event like Funnel Hacking Live, there's so much positive energy throughout that entire room because it's being around like-minded individuals. Okay.
Hmm.
So like-minded individuals, and it's different than going to an arena full of people that are there to watch a soccer game or or an arena full of people that are there to watch a movie. It's
Right.
it's being around a room with so much energy that it just it attracts you. Everyone you talk to is a welcoming, and you feel like it's family. You feel like it's family, although you might live in completely different parts of the country, different parts of the world. I'm making it an annual event for myself. Yes.
That's absolutely amazing. It's like a family, right? That's what Russell has done, and we all are like so grateful. If Russell wouldn't been there, you and me wouldn't have been meeting right now,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's
That's just unbelievable. That's unbelievable. Thank you, Russell. Thank you,
yeah,
Russell.
yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. And Mark, like the next question which I want to ask you is like a lot of people believe that knowledge, you can read these books like .com secrets, expert secrets, or like traffic secrets, or else
Mhm.
they can watch a YouTube video, right? Why they have to basically attend the event and become part of the event, right? What is the difference? And I saw like you, the top 1% crazy that photos everything, right? Is it like the people who come to that event because more than 100,000 people use ClickFunnels, right?
Mhm.
Like active subscription. And this room, like total, how many people had come? 5,000 this time,
Yes,
5,000. Yeah,
5,000 plus.
5,000 plus. Out of these, they are like the majority of like the two comma club, the top 1% achievers are in that room. What is the secret sauce, right? What does it happen in this room? Does they talk about some secrets or like some, what do they do?
Well, you want to listen closely because the secrets, I'll tell you, the secrets aren't found in .com secrets. Well, there are secrets in .com secrets. There are secrets in .com secrets. The
Hmm.
secrets aren't found in expert secrets. Well, there are secrets in expert secrets,
Yeah.
and there are secrets in traffic secrets.
Hmm.
But the real secrets are going to be found in those rooms where people are actually giving freely of their knowledge, and they're giving freely without asking. But when you open your ears, that's the key. Have your ears open, because it doesn't come to you wrapped in a pretty bow. It doesn't
Hmm.
come to you saying, here is the answer that you're looking for. You know, that's
Yeah.
not how the secrets come. I'll tell you how the secrets come. The secrets come when you're walking down the hallway and you stop someone that you have just only seen online. And then you say to them, hey, can you give me a second? I got a question for you. What's the number one biggest advice you can give to an entrepreneur that's on his way to $1 million? And he tells you, and they tell you, and at the end they say, reach out to me whenever you have a question. What you've done right there, if you've actually
Build
made,
the relationship.
yes, and I'll tell you, I was there, and as I'm having a conversation with one person, I'm thinking about another person. I said, whoa, this might be something that could help them out. So you know what I did? I said, here's my friend number. So when I'm at an event, it's not just me that's there, because it's also all of my connections. So when you make a connection with me, you're actually connecting with everyone at this event, and vice versa. When everyone connects there, I am just I'm there for my connections, but I'm also there, to strengthen my relationships all around. And those are the real secrets. You should call those connection secrets. That should be Russell's next book.
Absolutely. It's like when you go and meet a really successful person, maybe in online, they may not know and they may not tell us what is the big secret. But when you go and ask face to face, they have to answer, right? Almost 95% people actually answer it. Maybe 5% or 1% they may tell, like, hey, I cannot reveal that unless someone asks some shitty question, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think with the ClickFunnels community, the atmosphere there, you could ask any question. And because I noticed that there are people at all different levels. There are
Hmm.
people that beginning their journey. There are people that have been on this journey for a while, and then there are people that are really at a point of scaling. So there's no crazy questions. There are people there that don't know what a funnel is. They came to the event just because they heard there was this event, or they had just been introduced to the community. I met such a gentleman there. Is completely, totally into bookkeeping, but that was one of the lessons I learned, really, also, because he knows absolutely nothing about marketing, but he knows
Okay.
everything about bookkeeping. And
Hmm.
me, I know nothing about bookkeeping, but I know everything about marketing. So
Right.
that's a relationship that I'm building right now, to help one of the contacts that I made there.
Absolutely. That's amazing. And the next question is like a lot of people had this doubt. They were thinking that funnel hacking live event is only for experts or like the two cover club winners or like really successful people, right? It's like anybody can attend, right? Like a beginner, intermediate, and like advanced. Out of that 5,000 people, how many people do you think were like beginners and like intermediators and advanced people?
That's a good question. If I were to put a number on it, well, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what was incredible to me about this year at Funnel Hacking Live. So
Mhm.
last year when I attended, it was 2021, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so ClickFunnels had been what, 8-year business, right?
Yeah.
8 years, and they had created 1,569 millionaires within that 8-year period. Okay,
Mhm.
between 2022, I'm sorry, between 2022 and 2021 and 2023,
Mhm.
ClickFunnels created an additional 469 millionaires over the last 12 months alone. And
Wow.
that is 1/3 of what took them 8 years to accomplish. So they
Mhm.
did it in 1 year. So that tells me that ClickFunnels, number one, there's a winning formula. There is a
Mhm.
winning formula with what they're doing there, what with Russell Bunson is teaching, with what he teaches in those books, with what he teaches in his courses, and and the people that go into his coaching program. It's going to increase their likeliness of being successful, and they're doing it at such a rapid pace now. I wouldn't be surprised if that number doubled over the next year. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's amazing. That lets you know that out of 5,000 there's 1,500 in the room that are millionaires. So if you
Wow.
were to subtract 1,500 from 5,000, about 3,500.
3,500. Yeah.
So that's a little bit more than 60% that are actually, not at that 2 comma mark, but
Mm.
they're still, they're in the room. And if they're in the room, if you're in that room, then you deserve to be in that room. So you deserve to be there. You did what it took to be in the room. There are people that would make every excuse in the world not to be there. But when you make it to that room, you have your family that you leave, you have obstacles that come along the way. Things happen, spouses, maybe don't have the full support. Maybe you had an injury, but you made it in the room. And when you make it in the room, that means you belong in there. So if you think that you don't belong in the room, just get in the room. Just
Absolutely.
get there, get there, and you won't regret it, right?
Right.
And you can understand, right?
Absolutely. Even though, like they tell, right, even if the room average is this much, if somebody like 15 millionaires are there, automatically the room value also increases. Right. I was just seeing like a video where like Donald Trump during those days with all the 15 top CEOs of the world were in one room. He was telling these guys in this room make more money than like 20-30% population in the entire world. Just 10 people.
Yeah. And if
Right.
anything, you get in the room because you're going to have different conversations in that room. So
What was
like,
the craziest thing? What was the craziest conversation you had with the any funnel hacking live speakers or like any attendee? Like, what was the craziest moment for you?
oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I had a couple of great moments. I had people come up to me saying, I know you. And these were like, I reunited with people from last year. The craziest thing. Okay, so Law Payne.
Right.
I had saw him from last year, and
Absolutely.
I interviewed him. And the crazy thing is, about 3 days before Funnel Hacking Live, he posted a picture of me and him on his
Right.
on his page. So when I'm there, so Law Payne has this huge entourage following him around with cameras, and they're recording everything. So when Law Payne comes in, everybody notices, everybody sees it, and everybody's like, "Who is that?" Right?
With the
So
bodyguards, camera, everything.
yeah. So I don't think you saw this, because I didn't put this on social media, but I'm standing there, and this was all recorded. I'm standing
Right.
in a row, and to my left, Law Payne comes down, and he looks over at me, and then he says, "Hey, come here."
Wow.
Yeah. Law Payne calls me over. I go up to him. We shake hands. We hug. And guess what he says to me, Akshay?
Yes.
He says, "Are you ready for year number 2?"
He remembers you from last year, right?
Yes, yes. And I said, "Oh, yes, of course I'm ready for year number 2." And I said to him, I said, "Hey, I appreciate you put that picture of me on your profile. That was really cool." And guess what he said then, Akshay?
Yeah.
He said to me, he said, "That was on purpose." He said,
Mm.
"I did that intentionally." And then we went on to have this conversation of about 5 minutes back and forth, where I talked about our interview last year, and he talked about how he really wants me to really more commas. That's what we talked about, more commas. He walked around the entire event, and he had this new brand that he's releasing, and it's called Commas.
What is that basically?
Commas, like commas.
Hmm.
So he said, we want to steadily add commas. So not 1 comma, not 2 commas, but 3 commas. He's a very inspirational, but that was just one of those moments that it just made me realize that, wow, although it seems like people don't recognize you, or they don't notice you, you think, "Oh, this person is just so successful that I could never learn from them, or I could be intimidated by them." Don't think that. That's just something that's in your own head. But just
Right.
keep doing what you're doing, and the people that need to notice you are going to notice you, and they're going to give you some value. They're going to feed into you, and that's what Law Payne did to me. And
Right.
it's
And yes, absolutely. I just love him for his simplicity. And people actually think like people on the top are like cocky, they're arrogant or like this thing, right? What are the qualities you saw in Lopin and other top 1%, the 0.001% of ClickFunnels?
You know what I saw? I saw calmness. I
Mm.
saw a connection with people. It didn't matter if he had 15 people around him or 20 people around him. He never gave the impression that it was too much for him. I think he's grateful for the opportunity that he's been given, and he doesn't take it for granted, and he wouldn't tell someone, "I don't have time for you." That's what I saw from him, and it showed in his persona as he walked through, and the message that he actually that gave out. It was really about empowering other people. It's, I did this, and now you can do it too. But not only can you do it too, but I want to encourage you that whatever your roadblocks are, to get over those roadblocks. And then I met a few of his team members too. I met one of the guys that actually manages a lot of his social media. And we had a talk. He talked about their vision for the future and what the whole comma thing looks like. And then we exchanged information. Yes. So yeah, it's and if you're not in the room, you don't have that opportunity to have those connections.
Absolutely 100%. Right?
Yes. Yes.
It's like we have to be in that arena, right? And we just have to believe it's like possible. And that's how last year I was able to interview Lopin, billionaire Naveen Jain, all these big guys, right? Like the top players.
Oh man, I love that, man. I love that. I still think that Naveen Jain interview you did was woo,
The moonshot,
woo,
the amazing book.
woo, man. And man, you are so giving. You're so giving, Akshay. You're giving. You have a great heart, and you want to serve others. And
Thank you
that's
so much.
yeah, and that's definitely evident. You sent me that video with Naveen Jain, and I tell you, just that video alone is worth, man. Just to have him sit down and just talk with you and give, just is wisdom from someone who's been there, wisdom from someone
Absolutely.
who's been there, and he knows the roadblocks, he knows the pitfalls, and then he speaks of it so freely. I love that guy.
The simplicity, right? The ultimate simplicity, right? And he just gave back. Like I asked how to make $1 billion. He said this. Why this? Why now? Why me? Right? How to create this? Like that's the beauty, right? Like we can cut short our learning curve. All the people who are watching, like we can just understand the framework. Where is the pitfall? Okay, don't do this. Lopin said don't do this. Russell Brunson said do this. Naveen Jain said think big, right? He said like dream big, don't dream small. Small dreams take more time. It's like the controversial.
Yeah. I'll tell you one of, I know you're probably going to ask me some of my biggest takeaways from
Yes.
this.
Yeah. What are your 3 to 5 biggest takeaways of the event, right? Like, can you just list us and tell us what are the 5 pillars? Because all the people who want to become part of the virtual or like cannot also, like they're so curious. They are like, hey, Akshay, can you bring someone who has already been there, gone there, and want to listen from a real person? And here we go. We have the mental marketer with us.
Well, I'm going to I'll tell you, because there were more than 5. There were more than
Yes.
5 pillars.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna share some of the really golden nuggets.
Yes.
And if I could go on and on just from day one, but I'll tell you that the
Yes.
way
You can just tell us like day 1 what you learned, day 2 what you learned, day 3 like a quick summary, like a revision. If tomorrow is my exam, just do the revision for me.
I will. So
Yeah.
so the way he structures the funnel hacking live is the first day is about your mindset and who you become. The second day is about the strategy, what you do. And then the third day is tactics, the activities. And then the fourth day is about inspiration and moving into the future and just, how you can keep this momentum going into the future. So they're on day 1 as far as the belief day is concerned. I got great insight from Russell Brunson when he talked about is a hero's journey. And that day he really talked about if you know about the storyline for all great motion pictures, it typically follows a great storyline, and it tends to be true in our lives as well. And that's about a hero's journey. And what the hero's journey is, it talks about how when you look at these major motion pictures, it's usually that the hero is called to achieve an external goal.
Right.
And initially, the hero of the story will reject the call. He'll say, I'm not strong enough, I'm not fast enough, I'm not great enough, I'm not, I don't have, not me. How could it be me? Until there is an event that happens. It might be an external event or an internal event or an external event that causes the hero to have a moment of awakening. If you ever seen Neo in the Matrix, and you know that he had that awakening to say, yes, I am the one, even though he rejected it. And then he said to himself, that awakening. Now, Funnel Hacking Live is one of those events that will give you that awakening and let you to get over whatever it is that's going on in your mind, to make you believe that you deserve it, that you are good enough for it, and that you can do it. That was day one. One really good thing that we got from day one was the world-class wrestler that Russell Brunson's a wrestler.
He's a wrestler, absolutely.
Yeah, well, a former wrestler in college, and he had the world champion, the best world champion wrestler. He told his story about failing. But one of the things that really stuck out in my mind is that what you should do is you should be so good that they can't ignore you. And don't wait for the phone to ring, but you make the phone ring. Make the phone ring. Those are some good tips.
Wow, that was super awesome. Like having that belief, being from a wrestler to selling potato guns, and today impacting so many people, what Russell has done. Like he has articulated this event in a much easy way so that anybody can understand and go through it.
Yes. Yeah.
How many hours was the day one? From what time it started and what time it ended?
Oh my goodness. So I think we were getting there I think I was waking up at about 6 a.m. in the morning. So I would wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning. And if you don't know this about funnel hacking, there's a lot of people, they're entrepreneurs, they work out a lot. So the gyms are full. Everybody likes to eat healthy. Everybody seems to be like these superhumans. No, not these superhumans. But I think there's a certain discipline that is developed, and the discipline tends to be across a few things: health, wealth, and relationships. So, and that's evident at the event. So 6 o'clock in the morning, I was up. I was having a little run and exercise, and then the doors were opening at 9 a.m. But we would get there a little bit early, so we had time to talk with other people in the line. I met a big guy, Mike Barron. Have you heard of Mike Barron?
Yeah, that guy who talks about like that motivational stuff, and I'm not very sure, like, but I have seen, like, if I just see, I'll come to know.
Yeah. So I would position myself. So there's the door that they let all the 2 Comma Club awards winners in, and they get early access. And then there's the door where everybody else goes in. So
General ticket.
yeah. So I would position myself in front of the door where all the millionaires were going in, because that's where you're going to see them coming in. And that's going to be your opportunity to catch their ear for a second, whether it's Allison J. Prince, whether it's Pedro Adao, whether it's people that are going on the stage. And these people are going up there to receive $25 million, $50 million. What you start to see is that, okay, Akshay, to get to that $1 million, it seems like that's the struggle. But once they get to the $1 million, it seems to just exponentially. It's like the first $1 million took 10 years, And then the second $1 million happens in
It's like this. The great example is Lopin, right? He has so many awards. Every day he, like when I was working with him, he was showing me, "Hey Akshay, check out, this is the new award which I got." After 2 days, I was like, again, "Hey Akshay, we got the new award again." I was like so charmed.
it's crazy, right? It's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy. Oh man. But yeah, so that's you know, that's one thing that I really took away from the event as well. You know, so you have to put yourself in that position where you are already believing that you made $1 million. And that's one of the big things that Law Payne said to me. That I asked him what was the biggest thing that he had to overcome. What was the biggest thing he had to overcome to reaching that $1 million? And he told me, he said it was belief. It was belief
Okay.
in belief in myself and
Yeah.
belief that I could do it. And once I got that belief that I could do it, then everything else fell into place. And that's always stuck with me with Law Payne.
Having that belief, having that mindset, and having that hunger and the pain, turning the hunger and the pain. I still remember like what Law was telling. Like, you must not settle for like small, dream big, dominate, like become the number one at what you do.
Yeah, yeah, and and even going after it and wanting it, and you have to want it. You can't sit there and think it's going to come to you, but you go after it and go after it not for yourself, but go after it for the impact that you're going to have on other people, the impact that you're going to have on your family, and you you're going out there to do it for people like you and I, Akshay. Because if Russell had never started to make a potato gun, if Russell had never failed badly at all those other businesses that he started, if he hadn't failed and then met Todd, who was a
Right.
genius in his own, if he hadn't met and they hadn't brought two minds together, then we wouldn't be here talking today.
Absolutely. It's
And
like having that connection working in a mastermind because Russell cannot do everything, right? And that's why Todd was more about the software guy, the backend guy, and Russell was the greatest storyteller, marketer, the brand image.
yes, yeah, Russell knew everything about marketing and nothing about coding. And
Right.
and Todd knew everything about coding, but nothing about marketing. But brought those two together, and it just powerhouse. That knew nothing about market, but that was Russell's. He calls himself the dancing monkey.
That's absolutely amazing. And that's what having the mastermind effect, like the same example, like Steven Larson and uh, what's her name? Like they both work together, right?
Marley Jacks.
Yeah, Miley Jacks. Like
Yeah.
working in a team, that's when we can, in fact, impact more people, help more people, and we can change more people's lives.
Yes. And yeah, because it's about you leaving a legacy, like a Naveen Jain. Now,
Right.
Naveen Jain is able to I know he has his kids are even
Right.
successful. Yeah, and
Yeah.
he teaches his kids, and his kids go and start businesses and make $1 million.
Right.
It's
And
insane.
it's like so amazing. It's not just one kid, all the three kids, right? The Anu Jain, Priyanka Jain, like Anu Jain, Anu ma'am is his wife, and Priyanka Jain, Ankur Jain, they are actually literally disrupting different industries, same like the father. Right. Right.
Yes.
Yes. And Mark, what was your learning on day two and day three? Like, when was Dan Kennedy's speech? And everybody was last year thought he was dead, right? But suddenly he came. I was shocked because Russell was telling like many thought on the internet Dan Kennedy is dead, something like that. And I was like so pumped up, my hair, my everything blew away. Like I got goosebumps when I saw Dan Kennedy.
Well, this year he had a day right before the event started that you could spend, and he was in
Dinner,
the room.
right?
Yeah, it was
Like
called
you can
Day.
have the dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a day with Dan, and it was really where he was. Dan Kennedy is like he's like the I don't know, like the old monk that you go to a Buddhist temple, and he just
Right.
tells you two words and your mind is blown. That's
Yeah.
Dan Kennedy. But Dan Kennedy, you know what Dan Kennedy is? He is a walking, living, breathing storytelling machine. He tells stories that just wake up your mind and says, okay, wow, you're so engulfed in what the story that he's telling, but at the same time you're learning through his
Hmm.
through his story. And that's what makes him a superb marketer. And the years of experience that he has, you just sit there like you're sitting at a campfire.
We
It's
have
like,
to listen with our ears open like a elephant.
yeah, it's like you're listening to your grandfather having marshmallows, but at the same time, he's teaching you what to do in marketing that really works. And you think some people say, "Oh, Dan Kennedy is old," but the principles are still the same, and that's what he
Absolutely.
says. He says
The
that
magnetic marketing, everything, right? He's one of the oldest, like direct response marketing specialist.
yes, yes. The mediums change. So
Mm,
the medium changes, and he says that the medium changes and it's still going to continue to change. Facebook, social media, this is not the last medium. There are going to be more mediums afterwards. So when you understand that it's not the medium, but it's the principles that go deeper, and it's the principles of the psychology of marketing, the principles of direct response copy, and the words, the copywriting and the words, and how they're meant to touch you emotionally. Then you understand that you can take those skills in any platform, any media, and it would transfer. You just translate it into the medium, and that's what you learn. You become an actual marketer, and a not an imposter. Like
that's
so many
crazy.
people suffer from imposter syndrome, right?
Right, right. Yeah, that's crazy, Mark. And what was your learning on day two and like day three? What was the strategies? Like basically people who use funnels, right? Some people think funnels can we use it for offline business, online business. What's your thoughts on that? And what was your biggest learnings for all the people who are basically using sales funnel, VSL funnel? What are the things they can do to get like more conversions, more sales?
uh Day two, I would say
Yeah.
that one of the most impactful speeches for me came from somebody that didn't really like I didn't really
Okay.
like him. But the most interesting thing is that I met him in the hallway before he went on stage. And I
Yeah.
asked, and I got an interview with him too. And we talked for about 5 minutes. And here's what I did, because I interview people, and I kind of know how to
Right.
push. I pushed some buttons, and I asked him about why was he such a controversial speaker. Oh, he lit up when I asked him that.
That's a great question.
Yeah, because he wanted to point out that it wasn't him that's controversial, but he says it's the 98% of other people that are controversial. He says, I have an opinion and I'm just not afraid to express it, and I can defend it. But then I start to warm up to him. But his name is Josh Forti. If you heard of
Whoa, I just know him. He's a Sam Owens Quantum Mastermind student.
he's a what? Sam Ovens?
Sam Owens student, right? Yeah. He was having a Think Different theory, like this thing podcast, right? Where he was
Yeah.
talking about sales, politics, everything.
Yes.
A young guy,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And you know what I asked him, Akshay, because I knew it would really fire him up. I said, so let me ask you, who's more controversial, you or Dan Henry? Oh, and what he said was just it was so interesting because he lit up when I said that. But he was one of the interviews that I did, but he was on stage on day 2 and he talked about a storytelling framework. And he talked about that storytelling framework and how that's really how you communicate. You really communicate and you really get people to begin to listen by telling those stories that get people to move. We always hear about Russell Brunson's framework, which is the hook, the story,
Story, offer.
and the offer. And you hear people kind of that same framework in a different way, because it's still that hook that gets someone's attention, that's going to get them to pay attention to you in this world of instant gratification where they call it, you get TikTok attention span.
30 seconds, 1 minute, yeah.
Yeah, 6 seconds. And but you have to be able to get that attention, and now you tell that story, and it's typically about story. And then with Josh Forti, he talked about the difference between being confident and being arrogant. And there's a difference between being confident and arrogant. I learned on that day also about having a goal and the 1,000 true fan theory. Don't think that you have to have millions of followers, but set your first goal for just 100. Set your goal for 100, and then when you start at 100, then go for 1,000. And and realize that everybody's journey is different. And definitely, some people, you can't compare yourself and you're on day 45 to someone else's day 400. You'll get comparison, and you'll feel like you're not being successful. That day was also the day that Russell Brunson did 2 presentations that day. One with Stephen Larson, and then one in the evening with our man, our myth,
Dan
Mr.
Kennedy.
Myron Golden.
Oh, wow. The boss moves. And last year, I believe, there was a workshop also, right? Was the workshop even this year, like selling high ticket offers workshop by Myron Golden?
Oh, no, I have to say, Akshay, that was one part where I was kind of disappointed. The workshops this year, they weren't as good as last year. They weren't as good. They weren't as good. And I'll tell you who I went to see. Yeah, they had a selection of like an agency, but I chose to go to a webinar presentation, and it was given by Anthony Morrison.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll just say that I was less than impressed. Or I think it was more for really the beginners. It was really for a beginner type of training. It wasn't for someone that has experience. I would say it's really for the beginner. But Myron Golden didn't do a breakout session. Neither did Jim Edwards. Neither did some of the other names that you're really familiar with seeing. But Myron Golden and Russell Brunson did this sort of
fireside chat.
No, it wasn't a fireside chat. It was like a sell-off. So they called it a persuasion secrets, and Russell Brunson would go and tell some of his favorite closing techniques, and then Myron Golden would tell some of his favorite closing techniques. So they talked about here's some names of some of the closing techniques. Okay, you ready for these?
Yeah. Yes. Right. Super ready.
All right. So he talked about social compliance, and that's the theory that if one person does it, then everybody does it. And if nobody does it, then nobody else wants to do it.
Right.
Robert Cialdini teaches that same concept in his book, Influence. It's a social compliance. And he talked about how he gets the audience involved to display that social compliance. Number 2, he called this one my all cards on the table. And where he takes all of their resistance down at the beginning. Let me give you an example. You see people come out, and one of the first things they want to say is that, I am not here. I'm here to give you this information. I don't have anything to sell you. And that they're saying that, hey, all my cards are on the table. Your resistance is down. And now throughout the presentation, you're not thinking, oh, I'm going to be sold. I'm going to be sold. I'm going to be sold. It lowers that resistance so you can listen to the rest of the presentation. Russell talks about how he did it in his perfect webinar. If you've ever watched that perfect webinar he did where he made $3.2 million at Grant Cardone
90 minutes.
In 90 minutes. Remember how he said in the beginning, he said, before the end of this presentation, I'm going to ask you to give me $11,000. So he was putting all his cards on the table. That was that example. Okay. Number 3, trial closes. We know trial closes, right?
Right. Telling yes again and again. Come on, do it.
Exactly. Are you getting this?
Yes.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Make people tell yes for 50 times, 100 times. Automatically, they are sold out afterwards.
Does that make
blue
sense?
Tick, and finally they tick. Here is the money. Where is the money? And here is the money.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So that was that technique, how you start to have people start to say yes throughout your presentation, and you weave it throughout there. Then number 4 is the no permission decision close. No permission decision close. And this is where you want them to, you have people that will say, I need to get permission from. And that's the roadblock that they may have going into the close. You want to address these issues before you get to the close, because I like how Myron Golden put it. He said, you don't want it to fester and let it become a bigger issue if you don't address it in that presentation. So what's an example? You want to talk about how a time when, if your wife, what did he say? He said, so, would your wife reject, would your wife say no to you would you say no to your wife if it was something that you would really want to do? No, you wouldn't say no to your wife if it was really something that she wanted to do. And so do you think your wife would say no to you if it's something that you really want to do? No, right. So you're taking the objection away that you don't have permission to make the decision. Did that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. But I could not get this last one properly. Can you tell explain the last one.
Okay, the no
Yeah.
permission decision.
Yes, yes, the no permission decision. Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm giving a presentation, I'll say, actually, let me ask, if your wife has something that she really wants to do, would you tell her no?
I will not tell no. Yes, like I'm here to support you.
Exactly. So the same way, if you have something that you really want to do, then your wife is going to support you, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the no permission decision, because
Hmm.
some people in their mind may be thinking that, oh, well, my wife is not going to support me on this. So you want to address that and
Right, right.
before the close, right?
Yes, yes.
All right. And then
The
there's
crazy with
and
this.
then there are four more. I'm just going to just name these last four, okay?
Yes, yes, yes.
Because you've probably heard of the kind of like bridges, Russell
Yeah,
Brunson and his kind of like bridges.
yeah.
And what Russell says about the kind of like bridges is that, we tend to be in our own world inside of ClickFunnels sometimes, or whatever industry you might be in, and you develop
Hmm.
this language that's really technobabble. That's what
Hmm.
Russell calls it, technobabble. But you want to explain those things because you lose people if you don't explain them in a way that they can understand. And he uses that kind of like bridge to actually get them to understand. Number 6, the I can't afford it close. Oh man, this was so good. This was so good, Akshay, because
Yeah,
that is such a big objection that you come up on, and when you're trying to close the deal, is that I can't afford it close. Myron Golden, he's great. And what he does is he doesn't go at the objection itself. He goes at the belief behind the objection.
the
And
root
why is
cause of the objection.
it? Yes, yes. And for this objection, he says that people aren't born with these beliefs. They aren't born with them, and no one is born with the belief that they can't afford it. So
Hmm.
so what you do is your job as a closer, as a seller, is to acknowledge the belief and then give them a more empowering belief to help them make the buying decision that's going to be beneficial for them. I love closing, Akshay. I love it.
Yeah, the money, it's like the oxygen of any business, right? Without closing, without sales, no business in the world is going to survive.
Yes, yes. And then the last two, because they went over 8 and they were going back and
Okay.
forth. The last two, he talked about emotion, logic, fear. And
Hmm.
this is about how you have to sell, how you have to appeal to someone's emotional part of the brain, and then you also have to deal with the logical part of the brain, and then he showed the parts of the brain, and then some people aren't going to buy. This is what he noted. About he said about I think maybe 15% of buyers are going to buy emotionally. Then you're going to have another 45% that are going to buy on logic. And then the remaining 50 or so percent are going to buy on fear. And then he talked about how you have to address each of them, or you're going to miss out on some percentage of the close. Then lastly, it was the upgrade your money close. Upgrade your money close. And here's what he said. He said, poor people ask, how much does it cost? Rich, wealthy people ask, how much is it worth? How you see? And the difference is
Right.
that
The words what they speak.
yes, yes. And wealthy people realize that, you might buy let's say I don't want to cut my grass. I'm gonna complain about $20 to cut my grass. How much does it cost? That's a poor mentality. A wealthy mentality is that a wealthy person is going to ask, okay, how much is that 2 hours of my time worth? If I spend 2 hours of my time out there cutting the grass, then what am I not doing? I'm not studying. I could have set up an appointment where I'm making, $1,000 an hour for my consulting, So if you can give them a new frame of mind to look at it, then that's how you're gonna meet the close. And those are the 8 tips. That was like,
Wow. I was like blown away with all these things, right? By just what we spoke, if people go and implement it in the right way, the business is going to it's going to be like a game changer, right?
oh
If they take the action and implement it.
yes, yes. That was a real bonus from one of my favorite presentations. I was really looking forward to that presentation, and I wish it was even more. I wish it was more, but it was great.
Right. That was amazing. And what about like day 3 or day 4? Tony Robbins session was there. Huh?
Tony Robbins was not there.
Okay.
He was not there this year. There was a different keynote speaker at the last day, and it was Marcus Lemonis. So I'd say that one of my favorite persons it's so hard to pick. It's so hard to pick because Brendan Burchard was there, and Brendan Burchard did an excellent presentation. He walked around and he talked about doing the exact right things, and actually he set some steps to 3 phases that we go through to change. And he talked about those phases to change and position yourself as the expert, like you, Akshay.
Yes.
Like you. I think that you're on your journey, and you are an attractive character, if you know what I mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And Russell Brunson always talks about those 3 things to that attractive character. A forward-based cause, an attractive character, and then a new opportunity. So we talked about that. And the last day there were some really emotional stories that came out that last day on Inspiration. One of the biggest stories that came out was Garrett J. White. And Garrett J. White, Garrett J. White?
Yes, absolutely. Last year, it was super awesome. He made us do the affirmations, I believe.
Well, he was cursing a lot this year, but
Okay.
there was this moment where he brought on this father and this son. So the son was maybe 8 to 10 years old, right? And the son said, "I'm so glad that my dad brought me here because I can start early."
Only.
Yes, I can start early learning these concepts. And they went on stage, and he told his dad about how grateful he was. And the dad, okay, so this is the dad, and the dad has brought his son there. And you would think that, man, he's done a great job. I mean, when you bring your son there and you're exposing your son to this like just completely positive environment, there's only great things that can come out of this. And the dad was posting inside of there's a private Facebook group with all of the people
Members.
that to go to the event. And he says that, seeing my son look me in the eyes and say that, it made me realize that I've been playing small. So I've been playing small, and that what I'm doing, I need to show up for him. I need to show up and be there for him. And if he's saying that, if this guy is saying that, and he's there, and he's brought his son there, then what about the people that aren't there? What about the people? What about the people that aren't there? What about the people that haven't taken or aren't grooming their children? What's holding them back? How are they playing? Are they playing small? It just lets you know that here we are. He's here at the biggest event. He's paid for the transportation. He's paid for the ticket. He's paid for the meals. He's paid for the entertainment, and he still feels that he's playing small. So, that just like puts a little drive in you and said, you know what? We could be doing more. We could be doing more. We could be doing more.
It's like the children realize, like, if my dad can do it, I can do it much better. Right? With all the support and the guidance. That
Yeah.
was crazy. And like this year, like what is basically the encode of like funnel hacking? Is it like the recording which is going to happen like 28th of September? Like I saw like Russell Brunson telling about all the people who have missed out, maybe someone from India who must be watching because of the visa, they were not able to attend, right? Someone from Africa, someone from any Asian countries, right? Like how they can become part, and what is it basically, the funnel hacking live encore replay event?
Okay. So the Encore replay event has never been done before. Typically, it's either you're there or you're not. And if you don't make it, it's been, okay, too bad. And they would, you didn't have an opportunity to see it again. And even last year, if you remember, they did have a virtual option. And
yes, it was the same ticket price of a physical event, $9.97.
Exactly. You could be there, but you paid the same price as those that were there in person. Well, this year, and I don't know if this will be the only year they do it, but they're offering to actually play the entire event, a replay at a fraction of the cost. It's at a
That's
fraction.
absolutely. It's like $297, which is like 24,000 rupees, Indian rupees. It's like staying in 2 days in a five-star hotel costs the same thing, right? And coming to this event. Now, Mark, what was your expense, like going from all the way from Texas, as like you are in United States, but still you had to catch the flight, go and stay there for the 3 days, 4 days, right?
Yeah.
The 4 days. What was the total expenses you had? Going, coming, stay, everything with the ticket including.
Oh man, let's see. Tickets were $1,000.
Yeah.
Accommodations were. I stayed an entire week, so I stayed 7 days at about $150 a day, and that wasn't including any reservation. Well, they have daily, what they call like fees for the resort fees.
Right.
Airfare, round trip airfare, that was close to $500, 500 US dollars. So what are we at? 1,000, 2, 3, almost 4,000 right there. Then I had transportation. So we had to be able to go from place to place. We had some off place events. And then we had meals, because eating at the hotel, you're going to spend at least $100 a day. Over the 7 days, that's $700. Yes. So there you have it. Add all of that up, and then add the tips, add the cost for deposits, and so add all of that up, and that can give you an idea of what the cost is going to be.
That close to like $5,000, right? Even more than that.
Yes. But like I said, there's a difference. The poor people will ask, what's the cost? And the wealthy will ask, what is it worth? And the worth that I got is worth much more than the cost I paid or the price I paid to be there. Yeah.
Absolutely right, and that's very important. Now you had spent close to $5,000. That's like 4 lakh rupees in Indian rupees, right? And the same thing for the virtually, because going, staying, there is so much of like you are taking so much of risk, right? Like you are spending so much, and you know it's really worth it. Now the same experience for all the people who are watching this, they can in fact become part right now, which is just $297, which is 24,279. That is not even 1/10 of the price which you have paid.
Hmm.
$250. It's like 1/20th price.
And I'll
Right.
tell you, just
And what is
one,
the
just
return of investment, Mark? Like many people tell, I think Myron Golden was telling, you not getting two comma club, right? It's like you have spent $5,000, but you know it's like you'll be able to achieve it like very soon or the faster, maybe this year or like maybe in 2 years down the line. Like you know, definitely you're going to do that, right? We
Mhm.
are actually the ignorance price is like 900,000, $95,000.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
know
agree with that?
I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know exactly how he actually explained it. If you give me a moment, he says that,
Yes.
okay, so if I've made $1 million, it would stand to believe that I can teach someone else to make $1 million, right?
Hmm.
If anyone can learn to bake a cake, then if I know how, then if I'm pretty good, I can teach you how to build bake a cake. So most people look at it as okay, well, this program is $25,000. But if you think that, okay, one of your biggest expenses is the cost of not knowing how to make $1 million. And he
Hmm.
uses the example. He says that if I made $200,000 this year, then what it cost me not to know how to make $1 million was the difference between 200,000 and a million, which is
800,000.
800,000. Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think what it costs me, because I'm too focused on this price, I'm not focused on what it's costing me not to know how to make $1 million. And then he says, then I know what he does on the board. He shows that so it cost you 800,000. And he said, whatever Russell charges you, it's a lot less than what it's costing you not to know. And you can see the difference between 800,000 and realistically, to learn how to make $1 million, you can pay $400,000 just to find out, and you would still make 600,000. Isn't that better than the 100,000 you made this past year, or the 200,000 you made past year? Because what you're focusing on the cost, and you're not focusing on what it's actually worth. And that's the difference between the poor mentality and the wealthy mentality. It's talked about in Rich Dad Poor Dad with Robert Kiyosaki, where poor people's mentality is to come up on this roadblock and think, oh my gosh, this is something, what am I going to do? And then a rich dad mentality is not going to let that stop them. They're going to think about, okay, I see this. Okay, how do I get over this? What situation? Because the goal is not going to change. My target is not going to change. I'm going to get to my target. What do I need to do to get there? What do I need to do to get there? So you asked,
Right. We need to be in that proximity and like we have to show up. And success is all like showing up, consistency, the momentum, and taking massive inspired action every single day and working in a mastermind.
absolutely, 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 absolutely. And if that means paying $5,000 to get in the room, 5,000 USD to get in the room, if that means paying 6,000 USD to get in the room, what you're going to get from it is worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it.
Absolutely. And what advice you want to tell, Mark? Like some people, even they think $300 is a lot. They know the event is crazy. The Russell is the great guy. He's the greatest storyteller. Everybody will get more value. But our human brain, like the medulla, this thing, the center part of the brain from the evolutions, it thinks of the safety, right? It doesn't want to take out of the comfort zone. It fears, even though you have, see, today in today's world, everybody can borrow like from the bank, from the cousin or anything, right? If any emergency happen, when the doctor tells for the brain operation, it costs $10,000. They don't tell, no doctor, I don't have money, right? They come up, find out a way to make money. But some people give this excuse, even $300 I will try next year, right? What is that they're going to miss out, right? If they tell I will try out next year, I don't have time, right? Maybe I think it's not for me, right? I already know many things.
You've a couple of things there. A couple of things. People think they have forever. They think they have forever to take advantage of things, and we don't realize that things can happen like tomorrow. I'll take, for example, right before I went to Funnel Hacking Live, I had referred someone to take the One Funnel Away challenge. And
Yes.
they said, you know what? I'll wait until you come back to take it. And guess what happened? They stopped the One Funnel Away challenge. It's no more. They stopped it. And now they missed that opportunity. And I told them, I said, look, if you ever get
It's
this
gone forever.
again, don't miss it. You can't think that you have all day, all year, all your life to take advantage of things when they can be gone and nothing is guaranteed. So when you start to realize, and Ed Milet gave this example when it was really dramatic. He had
Yes.
interviewed this guy at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then by 10 o'clock, that guy was dead. And he told the story, and it just makes you realize that life is short. Life is very short, Akshay. Even
Yes.
if we live, if we
We
were
never
to,
know. We both will live next year or not, right?
yeah. And even if we live to 100 years old, that's only 36,500 days. 36,500 if we live to 100, in which we're probably not going to live to 100. But think, if you're already halfway done, you could have less than 15,000 days. That's not a lot. 15,000 days. You would think that, oh my gosh, we have billions of days. We got hundreds of thousands. We don't even have hundreds of thousands of days on this earth.
Absolutely. That's the biggest illusion, right? No one understands death. If anybody understands death every single time, if somebody comes and tells anything, we get distracted. Hey man, idiot, you are going to die every day. Death is coming near to you, right? Nobody in the world can escape. Now just imagine, is it the time more important? The money is more important. When you die, you will not even take a small pin from this earth.
None of it. None of it. Not one dime, not one penny, not one pencil, not one pen, not a car, not a house, nothing.
Right.
Yes.
Whatever we do, like we have to use it to the fullest potential, right? In fact, I would have also complained like last year, spending 997 for a virtual event. Why to do it? And I had attended like the NAS summit, going to Dubai, meeting NAS, Vision Lakiani, the Mind Valley CEO, all these people. I would have said and complained, right? The COVID season, why to go? What if COVID gets affected? What if lockdown happens? I took the risk, right? And that's how I was able to interview Naveen Jain or like Laupen or anyone. I got the confidence. If I wouldn't have come to Funnel Hacking Live event, I will tell you, Mark, 100% sure, I wouldn't have interviewed you, met you, or like even Naveen Jain.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Grab a hold of it. Realize that time is precious. And we don't have the time to do everything that we want to do. And it's not just us that we're impacting, but it's those around us, our kids, our parents, those that are waiting for us. There's someone out there is waiting to hear us speak. They're waiting to hear your voice. They're waiting to hear you tell your story about how you overcame. Those things are,
Yes.
you just have to know them.
We have to do it for our family, our children, our grandchildren. Tomorrow, our granddaughter or like son must not tell what kind of dad I had. He didn't invest on himself. Like he's not able to give the life which I want, right? Because everything is like money, right? Like anything we have to eat good food, we need money. You need like to travel, hospital, everything we need money. And money is just some people tell the more money you make, it's not good. It's like it shows like amount of value which we add, right? So
Yes. Yeah, you're paid for the amount of value that you give to others. And it's a means of exchange. And I think people are attached to it in so many ways. Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah,
and it's like my good friend Myron says, none of us are born with these beliefs, but these are beliefs that we pick up, and what we can do is develop more empowering beliefs, more beliefs about money that will empower us to use it for what it is meant to be used for, which is to make more impact on others. And it makes the world go
absolutely.
round. It's called
Right.
money in circulation because it's as if it's circulating. I like how he compares money to blood. Have you heard him? Have you heard him? Yeah,
Yeah, I remember the last year. I little bit forgot about that, but I remember the blood,
yeah,
what he said.
yeah. He compares money to blood. How blood has to be in circulation for it to keep your
For
body
us to
alive.
survive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then he says that the heart is the pump that keeps the blood flowing, and he talks
Hmm.
about salespeople being the heart that pumps the economy and keeps the economy alive. Um, I know I could quote so much Myron Golden.
Absolutely.
I could
It
quote.
was insane. We can, in fact, talk for like days, right? Like about Russell, Myron, and Dan Henry, Josh Forty, and especially like the 2cc club, like the law pain. I can just talk about law pain for the next 1 week. Right? It was insane. And Mark, like, what are the resources or like the books what you recommend for all the people who are watching this, like study material, if they want to learn more about like funnels, right? What all things you will tell them?
If you want to learn about funnels, there are 3 books.
Yeah.
There are 3 books that are must have. There are must have books.
Right. Dot
And
com seek.
yeah. I was talking with the guy at it was like the last day, and he was talking about reading Expert Secrets, and he said, I really want to learn the structure of funnels. And I said, oh, okay, well, you need to read .com Secrets, because
Mm,
.com Secrets is about the structure of funnels and the different type of funnels that you can build, from a VSL funnel, from a webinar funnel, product launch funnels. It really tells about the structure of funnels. And
right.
Expert Secrets is going to be how to communicate in those funnels, and how to build a tribe, how to convert your leads into customers, and not just customers, because Russell always says that anybody could run an ad and sell a product once, but that's not the goal with Expert Secrets. The goal with Expert Secrets is to build a tribe of people that will buy from you over and over and over again. And he's done it with the community of ClickFunnels. Yeah.
creating that loyal audience, right? Like the Dream 100.
Yeah, yeah. And then there's Traffic Secrets, and then Traffic Secrets is the book that's going to tell you about all the different strategies to bring them into your funnels, like YouTube Secrets, Google Secrets. Yep, Instagram. You've got Instagram, the Dream 100 strategy, either earn your way or pay your way. How to start your own show, how to start your own show. He makes the comparison between old methods like a newspaper, television show, whether you have a talk show, and how to use those to communicate. He talks about Instagram, and Jenna Kutcher's in that book. She talks about her JK5 method. And then you have Joe Marfolio. He talks about the YouTube traffic secrets. Then he talks about the growth hack secrets and some of his unconventional ways of growing his audience. So those are the three definitive books, and I preach this all the time, and it just hasn't changed.
The fundamentals, the strategies, framework, it's going to be forever, right? Like the sales and funnels, maybe little more the advanced. The designs can be little more advanced. The words what we use can become little more advanced, but the fundamentals remains the same,
Yes,
evergreen.
yes, yes. And so he was so impressed that I knew this about all three of those books, because I use those books. They can be used as a ready reference. It's like a ready reference that you can go to and pick up the book where you might want some tips. Where are you stuck at? Then you say, okay, what type of funnel should I build? Let me see. I think he even talks about he's got some funnels by like the invisible funnel, the invisible funnel where
Yeah,
he actually lets you in on a webinar presentation for free.
absolutely.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
lets you in for free. It gives you an opportunity to purchase it up front. But if you don't purchase it up front, you go through it free, and you're going to pay more on the back end. Upsells. What type of upsell should I have? What type of order bump should I use? That the one funnel away challenge, did you know that it's gone away?
yes, yes. I just heard from you. I
Oh,
got started in 2019. The $100, right?
yeah, yeah.
I got the
So
iPod, everything, like the music system, like the book, I believe, all the things, right? And they explained, and then there was an offer, the Two Comma Club coaching, everything. Yeah,
yes. So that challenge has been running for at least 4 years or so. And with the release of 2.0, I was actually there, and I talked to the one of the main coaches, and he said, "Yep, Russell says we're going to end it." And then he told me this, and then I got back and I looked in there, and sure enough, it's gone. So that was a really good training. I thought it was a really good training that really laid the foundation for a 30-day plan. So the person that I spoke to about doing that, we're going to have a talk.
absolutely. That's crazy,
Yeah, we're going
right?
to have a talk. We got to take action. Take action when it's presented to you.
Yes, and that's crazy. And all this, like, all you need is like read these three books and use ClickFunnels. And I often get like this question also. People tell ClickFunnels is $97 a month. There are like other so many funnel builders like WordPress, so many cheap, like you can in fact have like so many other alternatives, right? And why you recommend all the marketers and all the people to use ClickFunnels only?
Oh, well, you know why? Because you see people that promote these products that don't use them. They
Hmm,
don't use them. They'll tell you to use them, or they recommend them to you because they're not, they're less expensive. But like I say, it's not what it costs all the time, but what is it worth? And
right.
and with ClickFunnels, it's worth a lot more. It's just worth it. Just being a part of the community. And I've seen some softwares that people will promote that are free, and they've been in beta for years. and they still
Right.
don't have a lot of the features, and you just don't know, charging for free and no price. Yeah, it's an option, but what I've learned, okay, I'll tell you what I've learned, Akshay, because
Yes.
I've been a property owner, and I've actually a property manager, and I've had residents, I've had homes that would be cheap, we'll say cheap, and then I've had expensive homes. The cheap homes bring cheap buyers. The expensive homes, they have better buyers, less problems. They pay on time. They're better customers. It's just my
Hmm.
experience. They're better. The ones
It's
that
like
don't,
the Rolls Royce, right? They never complain. They never think about what is the petrol or like the diesel cost, right? Whereas when you attract like the bargain mentality, they always bargain, they crib, complain. No matter what you give, they always ask for a discount,
yeah,
right?
yeah, and to be honest, the Rolls Royce knows that
Yeah.
everybody is not their customer. Everybody
Hmm.
is not their customer, but yeah, and they're not looking for the other customers, but they serve their customers, and they serve their customers well. So
Absolutely.
you just have to choose what type of customers you want. If you want
Right.
if you want the customers that are they're going to ask for refunds, they're going to say that they can't get results, they're not going to do the work. Yeah, why would you want that?
Hmm. Right, right.
you
It's
know
like we have to work with the right mindset and like you have to pay the price, right? It's not like nothing is going to be free, right? If you want to be part of that community, learn from the top 1%. And I believe ClickFunnels is the top 1% community in the entire world,
oh
right? When
yeah.
it comes down to the funnels and the community, it's like so awesome, right? Like just being in that community, post the question in the group, somebody is going to answer, right?
Yes.
That feeling, like just like a religion, like people tell whether you're Hindu, Muslim, Christian, whatever it is, Jain, Sikh, everybody in the ClickFunnels is like one family. We are one soul.
Yes, yeah. And I don't just say that because I use the software. I use the
Hmm.
software. I know how to use the software. I build in the software. I've had access to 2.0 since for a few months now, and I'm building inside of 2.0, so I'm actually a user of it, and so I feel okay recommending it to others. I love it. I
That's
just
super, super awesome. And yeah, today we got like so many golden nuggets. And for it's like if somebody has to take action, like you guys have to watch this interview again and again, two times, three times, because Mark tried to download his brain and transfer the brain, all the knowledge to you guys in a pen drive in a chip format, right? Like 4 days learning, spending $5,000 for absolutely for free. Now it's the time for you to take action, implement, and that's what we want, right? We don't want your money. All we want is like you to implement, take action, make yourself, your parents proud of you, and your country proud of you, and basically contribute to the GDP of your country to make
yeah.
the world a better place to live. Right? That's what we believe.
Yes, yes. You know, live a better life. You there's nothing wrong with not wanting more, but there's not I'm sorry. There's nothing wrong with not wanting more, but there's nothing wrong with wanting more also. There's nothing wrong with wanting more, wanting more success, more happiness, more freedom, more bliss, and that's for you
Absolutely.
and your family. That's for you and your family. Um, I'm
Right.
a I'm a firm believer that we can create our own futures. We can create our own futures. We do create our own future, and once we learn that and we begin to practice it, whatever we're doing, we'll feel very satisfied, and we'll in accomplishing those things.
100%. I 100% agree with that. And Mark, for all the people who are watching this, if they have any questions about like funnels or like the event, like if they have to reach out to you, right? How can they find you on like Facebook, Instagram? Where are you available? Right?
I'm available on Facebook. You can find my name, Mark Douglas. But if you look for Mark Douglas, you're going to probably find about 100 of them. So you can put Mark Douglas and then Houston, and it's going to narrow it down to about 10 or so. And just look for my shiny forehead. But
and remember the mental marketer.
Yes, the mental marketer. You'll find my Facebook group, a Facebook page on Facebook. The mental marketer. You'll find me on Instagram. The mental marketer. You'll find me on YouTube. And then, those are the channels. I got this super great thing that happened to me just being back from Funnel Hacking Live. We scored this book right here. See that book?
Oh wow, awesome! What's that book? $1 Million Speaker.
Yeah, $1 Million Speaker with Eileen Wilder and Joseph Aaron Gigliotti. Well, inside the book that they gave an advanced copy, so the book hasn't been released yet to the general public, but inside of the book, there's this little card right here that has this QR code, and they are they're going on a virtual book launch tour. So they're offering to do interviews with a select few people that on their show that were at Funnel Hacking Live. And I clicked this and I landed an interview. So I've got an
Awesome.
Yeah, I've got an interview with her in about 2 days that will be going live on all of my Facebook all of my social profiles. And the best part is that if you tune in, you'll be able to get a free copy of this book as well. She's gonna offer a free copy of this book to my audience for tuning in. So if you want to find me,
Absolutely. And your YouTube channel name is?
The Mental Marketer.
Awesome. Everything like the same. Mark Douglas, identify someone from Texas, the shiny head. And,
yeah, it's like reflecting, right?
Let's do it. Yeah, absolutely. And all the people who are still thinking, just become part of it, of like the Funnel Hacking Live encode, right? Learn, invest in yourself, and become part of next year also, right? Be in that zone of the top 1% crazy change makers, dream comers, funnel hackers, right?
Yes.
I just loved it, right? And do let me know, guys, like what are your guys like biggest takeaways in the comment or the chat? Show us some love, share it with your friend, tag a friend, whoever wants to know. Like in this interview, it was not just about Funnel Hacking Live. We discussed about various speakers, we discussed about various books, we discussed about various closing techniques, we discussed about how you can go from almost from zero to whatever your goal is, like fast, literally super fast, right? Being in that zone. And Mark, any last piece of advice which you want to tell to all the people who are watching this at the Real Knowledge Club and the High Ticket Society, like club?
I love your community, Akshay. I love what you're doing. I'm glad that we've connected and we stay connected. I really go back to that hero's journey, that we learned on the first day, and it's about our hero's journey. And initially you will reject the call, but it always takes usually an internal or an external awakening, and that awakening is when you realize that you are greater, you are faster, you are meant for more. You have it inside of you, and you were meant to be something, because there are others out there that are waiting for you. So I just want to encourage you to accept the calling, accept that calling, accept that pull, that feeling that's inside of you, and go out there and be a light. Shine it into the world. Be the light that you're supposed to be. Be the light that your kids need to see. Be the light. Find it inside of you to take those steps and get with Akshay and his Real Knowledge Club, because he is going in the right direction. If you sometimes you need that accountability, because things around you aren't always, it takes, I think we have some millions of thoughts a day. Yeah.
Right.
And when and a lot of those thoughts are not, they're not always, going to move you forward. But if you begin to make the habit of getting control of those thoughts, and you get around people like Akshay, you get in places like his Real Knowledge Club, and you're going to feel your power, and you'll be able to reach the moon, the stars, and the universe.
Wow, that was super awesome, Mark. Like, thank you so much for sharing, and all the viewers also. Thank you so much for being here. It was one of the longest interviews. It was close to like 1 hour 45 minutes. Right?
Awesome.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mark, for being here. It was a great pleasure to have you. Have
Thanks, Akshay.
a great day, everyone. Bye bye. See you. Take care of yourself.